We like looking at Reddit on this channel. However, normally I look at Reddit to discuss so-called leaks. However, these things are often inaccurate and mainly are just a bit of fun. But what are the serious theories that some of you people have for Doctor Who? Today we're going to be delving into the most insane theories Doctor Who fans on Reddit have to offer. But before we get into that, if you could do me a teeny tiny little favour and click that subscribe button, it would be very much appreciated. We are trying to get to 20,000 subscribers as quickly as possible, and I promise you, once I hit this subscriber goal, I will never mention subscriber goals ever again. But with that said, let's get into the video. So the first one I found was posted a couple of months ago, and it says, could the 60th dust off an old premise? Maybe spoilers? I saw this on the Beep the Meep Wikipedia. In Doctor Who magazine 283 TV Action, he travelled to the 1979 of a parallel world where the Doctor was the subject of a television programme entitled Doctor Who. Beep tried to take over the BBC television centre, planning to broadcast Black Star radiation into households across Britain in an attempt to turn everyone as evil as himself. However, he mistook the actor Tom Baker for his hated nemesis, and while distracted, was defeated by the 8th Doctor, his companion Izzy, and many other television personalities. What if David Tennant is playing a fictional television version of the Doctor in a parallel universe? Maybe he's 14, but we get to see another Doctor Who play an actor. Fingers crossed for Matt or Peter. So I really like this idea. As we know, it's highly likely that the 60th anniversary is going to be predominantly based on the comic story Doctor Who and the Star Beast, which is, I believe, the introductory comic for Beep the Meep, which I recently bought and will be reading in due course, where the Wrath Warriors are trying to track down Beep the Meep and all that sort of stuff. However, one thing I didn't consider is that Russell T Davies, being the ever crafty guy that he is, would decide to instead focus it around a different, lesser-known Beep the Meep comic, revolving around him infiltrating a reality where Doctor Who is a show. So that's why David Tennant's back, and Donna Noble's back, and they can exist in this TV show without the memory being an issue necessarily, or at the very least her not exploding immediately upon seeing the Doctor. And in fact, Neil Patrick Harris's character, who we assume to be the Toymaker, however we don't know for definite, does refer to the 60th anniversary, or something at least, in the 60th anniversary as a worldwide premiere, which certainly does have television vibes.
The show is just beginning. Worldwide premiere.
Honestly, the thing that kind of detracts from this theory, as I said, is that so much of what we know from the 60th seems to be based around Doctor Who and the Star Beast, as well as the fact that I'm not sure how the Celestial Toymaker would really factor into things if Beep the Meep was pulling all the strings. However, I suppose he could be the actual fake villain to Beep the Meep's real plan, but it might be too meta for an introductory story for a new era to basically be, oh, yes, this is a meta-narrative of a show within a show type thing. Plus, we kind of already had a episode that was kind of designed to celebrate the BBC in the form of the centenary last episode. So focusing this one heavily around the framing device of the BBC probably wouldn't make too much sense, but I do love this idea nonetheless, and I think actually if the 60th was one episode earlier, this would be the perfect idea to celebrate the BBC, and you could have various old stars from the BBC popping up to help the Doctor break out of this reality. It would be very fun. This next one says, spoiler, is it possible River mistook the 14th Doctor for the 10th Doctor? We know that the 10th Doctor had adventures with River Song, even though it didn't really make sense, in my opinion, in the Doctor's timeline. He was still very hostile towards her during the 11th phase, going as far as wanting to abandon her in Time of Angels as soon as he knew it was her that he was rescuing. It wasn't until Series 6 that the Doctor had started to properly warm to her, so anything involving the 10th Doctor and River just doesn't make sense. We also know that River had pictures of all the Doctor's faces, up until the 11th Doctor anyway, as she never recognised the 12th, but not in order. Therefore, it's possible that she was having adventures with the 10th Doctor, and he was perfectly content, comfortable around her, romantic, etc. He may well have been in his 14th form, but deliberately kept that to himself and pretend to be 10 because, spoilers, to hide his pain at knowing how the story ends. I don't know, just a theory. These adventures would be more in an off-screen side of things, as 14 will only be on screen for 3 episodes. So I actually really like this idea because it addresses something that I guess the main show never really touched on. In the Silence in the Library Forest of the Dead, the 10th Doctor doesn't recognise River Song, however River Song seems to recognise the 10th Doctor. This is kind of weird when you throw Big Finish into the mix, where both of them knew each other. But what if River recognises the 10th Doctor's face not because of meeting the 10th Doctor, but instead meeting the 14th Doctor? But obviously 10, not wanting to mess up the timelines, decides, I'll just refer to myself as 10 for now. This would totally make sense for a nostalgia-ridden 14th Doctor who was trying to learn about his past. As we know through the trailers, the 14th Doctor doesn't know who he is anymore.
I don't know who I am anymore.
And is also totally in keeping with a post-12th Doctor incarnation who would likely miss River Song and would probably do anything to have one last experience with her, even if it was hiding his true identity as a future incarnation. Also, just to add to this slightly, I'm pretty sure that River refers to the Doctor's eyes as being the youngest that she'd ever seen them, and obviously, through Big Finish, we know that she's even met incarnations like the 3rd Doctor, so that wouldn't be true. However, what if she was referring to the youngest she'd ever seen that specific face, as the 14th Doctor, whilst looking very similar to the 10th Doctor, does look visibly older. I don't know, maybe that's another way you can kind of factor this in, to her maybe having met the 14th Doctor prior to her death in the Library 2-parter. I really dig this idea. Again, I doubt it'll ever happen or be confirmed officially, but I'd love it if this was done in like an expanded media thing. The 14th Doctor got all nostalgic and decided to take one last trip with River Song. I think that'd be really sweet, actually. This next one is called Jenny is a Timeless Child. I've been rewatching Doctor Who, and I reached the episode where Jenny is created from the Doctor's DNA. If we assume that the Timeless Child from one of the latest seasons is actually the Doctor, then wouldn't that make Jenny the same? In the Timeless Child theory, the Doctor can regenerate as much as they want, therefore Jenny can do the same. So this is interesting because, yeah, it's been established that Jenny can kind of regenerate while keeping the same face. And if she does indeed have the Doctor's DNA, that also, by extent, if we go by the Timeless Child theory, kind of makes her a timeless child in a way, especially because, as far as we can tell, she can't die. But those are just some theories that I found on Reddit. Let me know what your thoughts are on any of the theories we discussed in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you later.